Hello and welcome to the Music is Therapy podcast. Studies have shown that simply listening to music can help lower stress and anxiety, help lift our moods and create positive social connections. Music can help with life's events, from helping heal a broken heart to processing a bereavement, or just a wee helping hand to our daily commute. A song can have an instant impact, lifting our spirits, urging our body to move, or just a simple reminder to rest and relax and do nothing sometimes. My name is Alan Ralston. I am an accredited psychotherapist with over 20 years experience in the addiction and mental health field, and I've saw the positive impact of music. This podcast is called Music is Therapy, and I'd like to explore with each guest what music means to them. We're going to invite each guest to bring their favourite piece of music along and just to lean into what it means to them, where the emotional connection is, and how for them it is the gift that keeps on giving. This podcast is just to highlight the importance of simply listening to music. There's a study that has been published to say that it was a protocol of simply listening to music for 10 to 30 minutes per day has got a magnificent impact on our system. It can help lower our blood pressure, our heart rate. It connects the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the system that helps us to relax and let go, amongst many other positive effects. So with that, the podcast's aim is to encourage people to listen to music and also invite the listener in to maybe explore the music that the guest has brought along, or even just to reconnect with the music that's made them happy throughout the years. So my second guest here is my friend Eddie Clarke. Mate, welcome Eddie, thanks for coming along. Eddie, I look forward to this conversation. Eddie is a writer, he's a poet. Eddie is also a founding member of Recovery Connections, which is a company, a community interest company, that was the first sober festival in Scotland, and how it runs every year. Whereabouts is it? Queen's Park in Glasgow. When's that usually? Is that
this year it's going to be July the 6th.
July the 6th. So we'll get into a wee bit about Recovery Connects, but I think that's just an absolute perfect example of the healing properties of music, that celebrating music with people in sober company and bringing people together who might never would have met, or maybe people who'd never been to any kind of live music either. So we'll get into a wee bit about that, about your writing. You've also got a short film coming up. It's a bit of a biopic, mate, and there's a few kind of well-kept faces in Scotland that's acting in your short film, mate. So dead excited for that. Dead excited to see that, mate, and just look forward to maybe talking a wee bit about it as well, and how it's linked in with your love of music and stuff like that. So is it fair enough then, mate? We'll just kind of crack on. So just, I suppose, early memories. The first time you were aware of this thing called music, was it childhood stuff, family parties, or New Year stuff? What's your first recollection of music, mate?
I think my first recollection of music would be in the house, but it wasn't something that grabbed me at that time, I would guess it was probably early 80s.
Right.
It'd be my parents' music, and things like Roxy music and stuff like that.
Pretty cool, mate.
My dad liked the Beatles, the Stones and stuff like that, so that was there as well. But I think the most that you would hear would be kind of early 80s stuff, Roxy music. I don't even know what else would be there, Billy Joel and stuff like that, on the old record player and stuff. But that never really grabbed my attention.
No.
But probably in the mid 80s, I had one of the cool uncles. He was young and it was Bowie.
Alright.
So I really, even at 10-year-old or some 9-10-year-old myself, I knew that Bowie was good. Do you know what I mean? And I could hear it in the music. So that was probably my first, introduction to, right, that's music. You know, probably myself, I'd probably have been listening to pop music at that time and stuff like that. But it was only to be a few years later, you know, that something really hit me. You know, I had an older brother, a few years older than me, and he brought back a tape then, you know, and everything was a copy on a tape, wasn't it? And I put it on, and it was the Stone Roses' first album. In fact, it had B-sides as well on it as well, and you know, I'm a big fan of B-sides for all bands. You know, I really like, it's not just about the album, it's about what else have they done in the different kind of style.
Why would that be? Why do you think the B-sides is it?
I don't know, it's because you hear, if somebody's popular at that time, or music's popular at that time, you hear it so often, don't you? Do you know what I mean? You hear it over and over. I certainly did. I'd sit and put an album on and listen to it till I didn't like it. And that's a bad habit I've had over the years, you know, and I'm like, I can't listen to that again. But I'll revisit it years later, then I'll be able to appreciate it again. So some mental anger on there, isn't there, you know, regarding that, you know, quite obsessive listening and obsessive until I can't hear the music anymore. But I think at the time, it came out in an album in '92, I think, Stone Roses, remember they had issues, didn't they, with the record company and all that. I think it was actually the record company that brought out the B-sides on an album. Turns into Stone. It was Griffin Records, if I remember it. Remember the flung the paint over them and stuff for the money and stuff like that. But that was things like Mersey Paradise, All Across the Sands, do you know what I mean? Elephant Stone and stuff like that was on that. Because obviously the Roses only released the 2 albums, didn't they, on their own. So that was my first, I was like, I love this. You know what I mean?
What an introduction, but even going for your dad's stuff, Roxy Music, Beatles, and then your cool uncle, mate. Certainly beats me. I think mine was the Carpenters or something, and Cindy Divine or something like that, man. So you've some baptism of fire there, mate, with music.
Totally, but music wasn't like kind of pushed on at me. I get quite jealous when I hear families where their parents were maybe even musical themselves, talented and stuff. Because when you're young, you're a sponge, aren't you? Do you know what I mean? I wish somebody put a guitar in front of me when I was 5. You know, and I speak to a lot of my mates just now who are musicians and stuff, and that some of their experiences being that, you know, their families really encourage them. It wasn't really that. I ended up growing up in the house three guys, do you know what I mean? So it was football, and that was it, you know. But I certainly, my own first kind of love and first choice of music was the Stone Roses, and that would have been 89, that was, so 13-year-old.
13-year-old, mate. And was it something, did you go and buy that? Was it a record you bought, or was it?
No, it was just a tape, wasn't it? But it was a kind of, it was that way where, and I remember, I'll share this with you. So my brother's a few years older, do you know what I mean? And I'm seen as the pest or whatever, a young boy, but I remember playing that tape, and it was like total fascination with it. And I sat and played each line to write down lyrics, and that's where my kind of love of lyrics, and we're going to speak about kind of things later regarding in the writing and stuff like that. I was always into lyrics, you know, that's what hit me first, so it was always about the meaning of the song. It wasn't just listening to the music, but I believe Stone Roses had it all at that time, because it was, you know, you had the bass line, didn't you? You had the drums with Rennie and stuff like that, but you also had the lyrics as well. And I sat down and I was writing that, and I remember my brother and his pal coming in the room like, what are you doing? Embarrassing me for writing it down, do you know what I mean? But I did get closer with my brother's mate who was really into music as well. And I remember coming back one day and he'd altered the lyrics that I'd got wrong, that I'd heard and stuff. So that's always a big memory for me, because I always, you know, I would always go into the album sleeves to see if the lyrics were there, do you know what I mean? And I would study them and stuff like that. So it meant a lot to me.
So it seems like you weren't satisfied with just the greatest, with the hits or the stuff that was on the radio at the time. You need to know like the B-sides, the lyrics. So a real connection there, maybe you say. And emotionally, did you read something? Was it informing you in some way? You know, like the reading of these lyrics, or was it, you know, was it an influence in any other areas? Would you say, like, from reading that, were you like, oh, but it's, you know, did it give you an interest in English at school or music or anything like that? Or was it more a personal thing for you, would you say?
I would say it's more personal and about how I perceived the meaning of the lyrics. I'm not sure how anybody else what people do with songs. See, when I listen to music, I see videos, do you know what I mean, of events.
What, the artist videos?
Or no,
stuff for
my
your
own.
Like images?
Aye, images related to myself and visualise songs. I don't know if that's a normal or strange way around about...
past events, a few, what you would like to happen?
What I would like to happen, like visualisation kind of thing, you know what I mean?
That's interesting,
relate the situation in the songs to myself.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I think we're going to be a bit therapy here, but
no, mate,
no, it's cool. But I've always done that, and I still do. And see, whenever I do write just now as well,
aye,
it's in film, you know, it's visualised.
But I see the studies I'm talking about now, and Andrew Huberman talks about that. All the tests done, mate, see when we're listening to music, we become part of that music, we become part of the orchestra. It's like the neurons that are firing and wiring together in the brain. There's releases of dopamine, there's releases of the oxytocin as well, which is the hug drug as well. So this is like, it's an actual event, and the lowering of the heart rates and stuff like that as well. So it's like, I think, and it's like, I'm not an expert in this, but he says when that neuron sparks and dopamine is released and dumped in the oxytocin, that then wants more and more and more. So I think it was a positive thing for you then. See, like the images, it would be like what you want to do in the future, or what you want to wear. What was the images? Was it basically a positive kind of?
No, definitely positive. But it was always a lot of emotion. Always a lot of emotion involved in it.
Right.
And I'm still like that today with music.
Right.
Very much, you know, you change, don't you? Music tastes and stuff like that. Certainly for me, some bands stayed all the way. You know, some people's music just kind of lasts forever. It doesn't go a date kind of thing, you know. But it's like certainly for myself, I use music for emotion as well. I think writing songs, you know, kind of is an easier way for me to express myself as well.
So even back then, you think you were using it just to process your life events, or just...
It was an outlet.
Yep.
You know.
And would you say you'd be consciously aware at that as a 13-year-old?
No.
Was it more an excitement? What was the feeling you think you would be having there? Was it just like...
Music's a very personal thing, isn't it? You know, because you could listen to something now and, you know, and get a totally different take on that. And certainly for me, it was a bit of a kind of escape maybe for kind of reality and stuff like that at that time. You know, and certainly through the years, I've always kind of went to songs that had a lot of meaning in it. And maybe some people would maybe find that that's a wee bit morbid sometimes and stuff like that, you know, but it certainly takes me on a journey mentally and emotionally.
Aye. Well, I think, I say, there's a lot of studies backing that up now, which maybe you would experience, that 13-year-old boy, you know what I mean? And would you say, like, during that time, obviously I'm witnessing it now. I've got a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old in the house, and I see the explosion of what's going on now. And for yourself at that time, then, was it making sense to some of the things you were feeling at the time? You know, at that age, you maybe struggled to put words on certain things, or reading these lyrics. Did it help make sense a wee bit of your life at the time?
It did. It was comforting, didn't it? I find music comforting, you know. If I even just now, if I've got something going on with me and stuff, I'll choose music that helps me in that time, you know. So back then I probably wasn't aware that's what I was doing, you know. But certainly round about that period I found that I could use that as some form of kind of therapy. And it helps me, but I would guess most people do that as well, you know. It's like sometimes people listen to uplifting songs or to lift their mood, but I would go the other way kind of thing, you know. I would go deep within myself, you know, and I kind of chased music that kind of gave me that, you know. If I kind of fast forward a few years, you know, when things start to change and start to use substances and stuff like that, you know, it was certainly down that kind of path, listening a lot, The Doors, Final Cut, Pink Floyd, you know, things that maybe people wouldn't really expect a 14, 15-year-old to really to be listening to too much and stuff, you know, but certainly getting into the lyrics of these songs and the feeling of these songs, so going quite deep with that, you know.
And did you see that time, was it your understanding of that? Did you seek counsel with anybody else that was listening to that, or did you just personalise saying that's what that means for me, and that's what I go to? Did you ever, you know, was it ever spoke about like your love at that time for some of the kind of deeper and heavier stuff, like you say?
It was never vocalised, you know, like probably sitting in a room, everybody smoking, do you know what I mean, and stuff like that, but certainly that was what kind of go to as a group as well at the time. It was around about a time, you know, when I grew up, there was a lot of gang fighting and stuff, and you couldn't really move about schemes and stuff, you know, and it was a kind of safety, wasn't it, in a room, you know, and we were always maybe at that age a wee bit, you know, we tried the gang fighting and hanging about streets and stuff like that, but certainly wasn't in my bag, you know, and very much we were very music orientated when we were sat there. We weren't using substances all the time, you know, different substances as well. It was probably enhances the experience and probably kind of dictated what music was getting, what was the soundtrack to that, you know. But certainly music was constant on there, it was constant, and the group of guys, that was where at the time music was big for them.
Similar as well, with the similar taste. Were they the same age as you, mate?
Aye, we were the exact same age, we all went to school together. It was one of the kind of ones, you did everything first with each other, do you know what I mean, going through that kind of thing, and the friendships have continued on, even though we've all went our separate ways, you know. We've always had that kind of love of music and stuff like that, but at the core of that, the Stone Roses was always our band, kind of thing, and it had a wee bit of something that really kind of affected me, you know. I went down a path of kind of addiction and stuff like that, but I remember when the Stone Roses get back together, what year would that be? In 2012? 2012, and they did all the big gigs, you know, and I remember sitting myself, you know, my life absolutely fell apart, you know, a lot of isolation and stuff, and looking on Facebook, and there was all the rest of my mates at the Stone Roses, do you know what I mean? So it was you know, it just shows you sometimes, doesn't it? Life kind of throw up things to you and just kind of show you, you know, and maybe some of the things is a factor why I wanted to make the changes again, do you know what I mean? But I certainly through that period, you know, a lot of 60s music as well, and then we were spoiled, man, spoiled for music, weren't we? You know, I feel sorry for people nowadays when they're growing up, young, and they'll probably think their music is far better, you know, but certainly the 90s and the full scene there, you know, it was spoiled for choice, then obviously the introduction of the dance music as well and stuff like that.
So that predated, Stone Roses predated the dance stuff?
For me, aye, because I was just young, the dancing had started, you know, but we were just young, but quite quickly, you know, we started maybe at 16 and stuff like that, we started to be able to get into the clubs and stuff like that at the time, and that dictated, overpowered everything, you know, but on my own I wouldn't sit and listen to dance music out with a club. I think we kind of have spoke about it earlier, you know, we would go to kind of nights at the Metro or the Hangar and stuff down in there, or wherever else. We used to go to the Bully on a Sunday night on Clydebank as well, you know. And as much as I was in about the scene and all that kind of stuff, you know, the music wasn't everything to me at the time.
I think that's that contrast that we maybe spoke about with Ian last week. It was like somebody like yourself, absolutely invested into a band or into music, it's moving you, and you weren't satisfied with just listening to the radio hits and stuff like that. You needed the B-side, you needed the lyrics, you needed the meaning behind what they try to tell me and how I feel about it, and going for that to the kind of, and for some folk, by the way, dance music is, you know, I've heard of people saying, like maybe everyone's having a spiritual experience, but when they're in amongst the beats of dance music and stuff like that, it's just horses for courses in regards to that. With somebody for yourself, like who was deep into meaning, maybe like symbols and deep into maybe even like you know, I think for myself, I grew up the same age as you. Like, Jim Morrison never told me to take acid, right? Nobody ever told me, you know what I mean, to do anything like that. But I think drug use and music was so intertwined back then that, you know, it would be. I see it like for myself back then, you know, it's like, oh, let's listen to Pink Floyd, let's listen to one of the greatest albums ever made, Dark Side of the Moon. But I need to be stoned on it. You need to really enjoy that. And it's like, no, I still look back, that's quite an unhealthy relationship with that. To access music, the beauty of music, you need to put yourself in a different state of mind before you can connect with that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I think also the dance music.
Well, if I think back to that stage, do you know what I mean? It was like, and probably a lot of these bands used these as well. You know, if you look back to the Happy Mondays at the time, you know, and you read about the Happy Mondays, you look back in hindsight and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? It was like everything going on there, drug wise, wasn't it? You know, so it's like, and like we spoke about, the kind of look when I was just getting into kind of any kind of style and stuff like that, was a kind of stoner look, wasn't it? Then it was heroin chic, wasn't it? Like all that. Then people were getting applauded for living that lifestyle. So there was a big change, wasn't there, for the 80s to that, you know. And I just thought everybody was doing it because it looked round about, man. Anywhere I was, that's what people were doing, you know, using something. And somewhere along that stage it became socially acceptable, you know. I remember standing in the Metro nightclub and stuff like that. I think half my school class was in there, do you know what I mean? And it didn't matter if you were for the posh houses or you were for the scheme, do you know what I mean? Everybody's there and their own ecstasy. I mean, enjoying themselves. So it was like something changed in society regarding kind of drug use then, do you know what I mean? Party drugs and stuff like that. So definitely, I don't think the music scene at the time would have been the same if people were drinking lager.
100%, mate. No, like people used to, like some of the social commentators would call it like the kind of second coming of the 60s, you know, with the hippie movement and stuff like that, man. But I think when you're poor, that seemed to be like peace, love and happiness out there. But if you're poor and all that kind of drugs and around the schemes of the working class and underclasses of Scotland, man, there's maybe different movements going to come for that, or different impacts on the people, right? You're right, see the social work. I thought I was I was the cock with the walk in the playground when I was the first one to see Happy Mondays Row for Luck. I couldn't wait to tell my pals how mad it is. You know the video I'm talking about where
it's probably my favourite, and I'll count that as a dance tune, do you know what I mean? It's probably my favourite dance tune of all time, and the video just captured exactly what it looked like, didn't it?
Aye, and Bez dance with the trails, dancing across and getting told, oh, that's what happens if you take this and that. So you wanted to connect the dots yourself and looked up to this And was that similar to, I wouldn't say as much though with the Stone Roses, that
No,
was they,
no.
which is quite a healthy thing.
Aye.
But what is it you did like about the Stone Roses? What appealed to you? What was it?
I don't know. I feel for me it was a coming of age, wasn't it? Like you get to a certain age where your ears start to open, you're in early teens, do you know what I mean? And you're looking for something, you're searching for something.
So was it the image? Would you say? Did you think they were cool look?
Definitely.
Or Ian Brown? Was it one of them? Was it Squire? Was it?
All of them together. You know, it was baggy jeans, wasn't it? Long sleeve t-shirts. I remember having it was a G-Mex 1990 on a long sleeve t-shirt, Happy Mondays and stuff like that. You know, it was different. You know, it was different for being a boy. You know, and starting to think you were a man at a young age. You know, and that age where you were allowed to start to get into the under nights. You know, and I remember Hallelujah playing the Happy Mondays when they beat to it and stuff. It was just magical, man. It was. You know, and I chased that. I chased that feeling. You know, regarding music and the full sociable thing. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed that aspect. Then, you know, I was everywhere. You know, I didn't miss anything. You know, there's a night on there, I'm going. You know, there's a party after, I'll be there. You know, I was that guy that was out all the time. You know. And throughout all that, you know, is music. If it's in the pub, if it's at the party, if it's in the club, you know what I mean? The music's here at the full time, and it's like, and it felt like the place was alive, didn't it? In the 90s, you know, the way I grew up in Saltcoats, and away, you go down there now, you know, it's dead and there's nothing there, but there was buses coming through from all over Scotland, you know, on a Saturday night. With that, or the pubs before it are rammed, and there's tunes on in the pubs. You know, you go to certain pubs, and there'd be different types of music on before you went on to the club. And also a pub as well that I used to go to a lot in Saltcoats always did live music, do you know what I mean? So it'd be like acoustic singing, and that's a big part of my love for music as well, do you know what I mean? And kind of folky kind of sounding music, do you know what I mean? Grew up obviously a football team whose music is quite a lot kind of based on that, so I've got a lot of emotion for that kind of music as well, you know, so there's a lot of stuff you know, in music wise with me. I think there's no Gala that spoke about it, didn't it? Where Oasis got their kind of punch the air thing was for Irish kind of folk music as well, and I totally kind of see that as well.
So it was, you had then, would you say that was your first love then? Stone Roses was when you knew good music growing up. You knew good music and you introduced to good music growing up, but that was the first time you felt, I'm choosing this.
I felt that was mine, do you know what I mean? That was.
And was there a moment? Was there a moment you're like, I fucking love these?
It was just, I remember being in my bedroom, do you know what I mean? It was like, what do you have then? It was usually get double cassette, get a blast or something, black GVC or something, do you know what I mean? I can picture it and stuff. But it wasn't just enough just to listen to it, you know, as you said, I didn't know what it was about and go behind the scenes in it and stuff, you know, and really kind of look into the band and stuff, and it was all Manchester, wasn't it? And then it opened doors to loads of other bands, you know, the Shallons and Spiral Carpets, the Farm, all that kind of stuff, you know, it felt like everywhere you turned, you know, there was good music.
And there was, mate.
No.
There's no denying that.
No.
And no denying, let's say, especially growing up Saltcoats, with the club there as well, the Metro, and you're just up the road for Air with and then, you know, around about there, and a lot of the big ultrasonic and that, they were off at Air, some of the know.
So I grew up with Mallorca Eyes for Stevenson.
Right, okay.
So, for a young boy, I've known Mallorca, you know, and to have that tie as well, you know, because they were massive.
They were. Mallorca, just for that, Mallorca Lee was the MC for Ultrasonic. And I would say Ultrasonic were Probably the biggest band in the Scottish rave scene
Definitely.
in the 90s, mate.
So even when we're rave scene died here, Ultrasonic were massive all over the world. They were still touring in Australia and Europe and stuff like that as well, you know. So it was like, aye. And it's that thing again, isn't it? You know, where you've got a super club in a place like Saltcoats. You've got one of your own who is in probably top band in that scene and stuff.
Wow.
You've got DJs from your hometown as well who are now really well renowned across not just the UK, across Europe and stuff. You people like Snoopy, Joe Deacon, Tony Curlett, you know, and you know these people.
Right.
So there was something just extra special about that side of it.
I think, see, like when I mentioned maybe earlier, like the time that I moved to England in the late 90s, went over to Ibiza and some of the super clubs and stuff, and was so let down. I was so disappointed with comparing what was happening, plus you're paying £15 for a vodka and orange juice and there as well, you know what I mean? But out there, and comparing it with what I came for, almost like you took all that for granted, and obviously I think the crowds got a lot to do with it as well when you were going for it as well, and that was good and bad. Scottish crowds are always up for it, but sometimes that could spill over into every decoration, especially a club like the Metro where you've got people coming for it. I mean, there was buses for Clarke all the way down there and Hangar 13 that as well, and there were some big bands playing as well that I saw too. Aye, it's like it's undeniable that it was good times, but it was the best of times, the worst of times sometimes, wasn't it?
But I think what you're saying there about that scene as well, and going abroad and feeling kind of let down and stuff like that. But I think as a whole, in the music scene, Scotland is well known for that. Doesn't matter what type of music, their gigs are well known for the crowd, aren't they? And you know, venues as well, places like the Barrowlands, you know, it's just a hall. It's just a hall, but some magical happens here because of the people that's at it, you know, and places like King Tut's as well, you know, just a wee kind of underground place, but really well known, and bands want to play there, you know. So there's something special about Scotland regarding music, I believe, and live music.
And I haven't lived in England twice, I saw that too, you know, going to a gig down there, comparing it to up here, and personally I don't think the Barrowlands is the epicentre of the world, mate, in regards to gigs, but you're right, mate, it is just a hall.
I was there the other week seeing the Brian Jonestown in Manchester.
Oh, right. That was a sellout, was it not, mate?
Aye, it was a sellout, and lucky enough got on the guest list and stuff like that.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it's like, aye, the crowd's just amazing, and there was more people kind of our age, do you know what I mean? There's no hassle, it's all nice and stuff. And that's what I feel I belong now, you know? And it's like, as you get older, I don't want to be jumping about with pints, getting flung over the top of me, or anything like that. I want to go and listen to music now. Whereas in the past, I've been to hundreds of thousands of gigs and I can't remember them, and you know, it was messy and stuff like that, and just to go and appreciate the music.
And that's certainly dialed down the notch for you a bit as well, but no, for me, no dialed down the enjoyment I get for it, you know. And I mean, we were talking a wee bit about the hedonism of the 90s, music, drugs, it all came together kind of, man. It was a bit of an explosion and it was great, and there was some casualties for it, and there was people who still enjoy it, but I probably talk about hedonism in regards to the bands you saw, the Jonestown Massacre, that was well documented, was it, all their struggles, and I've watched their documentary and it is chaos, mate. And so is it the same members? Did they get themselves sorted out in that?
It's the same members, but I think that they're really well known for kind of fighting with each other, internal fight. So the main singer and the guy that fights, they stay at separate ends of the stage, I'm telling you. He's away over here, and you've got another two people in between them to the guy, you know. It's so dynamics are very mad, but it makes it interesting to me. I like that side of it. I'm still attracted to that kind of stuff in it. But aye, a great band, and if you know, I really like Velvet Underground,
Right.
you know, and it
Aye.
kind of, it gives me that kind of feel that the music, it's that kind of
Right.
quite trippy, kind
Yep.
of, you know, aye, but a great live band.
Was that, mate? Was it a good night?
Yeah,
There you go.
brilliant night.
So, a lot of, like, I think for yourself, just like the 90s been such a significant period in music, and you're like a boy at that age just absorbing it all, maybe too much at sometimes. And I think it's just like looking back now, like you say, it was a good time to be alive, a good time to be in about music as well, and I think it catered for all back then too. You know what I mean? It was.
But I think at the end of that came a lull though, you know, which was difficult. I think like through the noughties and stuff like that, you know, there was really a kind of change in my relationship with music,
Right.
you know, because you notice it now, don't you? It's like, it felt like during the 90s, there's another band with a good album, there's another band, there's another band. And I think musically and a lot of other areas of life and stuff like that, we peaked in the 90s, you know, and after that it was a kind of lull. And there was a lot of kind of periods where I was at in my life then as well. Do you know what I mean? It's to blame for that, where I'm probably not attending gigs anymore or any kind of live music, you know, my full lifestyle's kind of changed for the worse, you know, and probably that kind of stuff I was speaking about earlier regarding getting back into myself, and probably going back to the more kind of music where I'm trying to kind of feel something, do you know what I mean, or make sense.
Right.
Make sense of stuff through music, you know.
So what were you listening to? So in that kind of, fair to say, kind of isolation type thing, self-imposed, what was the kind of music
it's probably like back to kind of earlier stuff like Pink Floyd and stuff like that again, Velvet Underground, you know, a lot of kind of stuff there, which probably was a reflection how I was living my life at that time, you know, but more of that and more kind of, nothing sociable about it, you know, it's just that kind of personal thing where you're trying to get through stages of life, so, and a lot of years kind of missing memory and stuff like that at that time, you know, and a lot of isolation and stuff like that, which difficult times, you know what I mean? So, but always having something there, music wise,
to partner or
my partner, a lot of sleepless nights and stuff because of my lifestyle and stuff like that, and a kind of companion during that. Even though it might not be making you feel better, it's making you feel something, you know, and just a lot of confusion.
So that accompaniment, mate, so it gave you a bit of, you're not quite alone type feeling. As it's interesting when we see how sometimes where we're at in regards to our own well-being would reflect on the music we're listening to at that time. You know, you could maybe tell us how somebody's getting on, by how what they're listening to for that time. Were you trying to motivate yourself during that time? Like, would you listen to music to try to lift your spirits or anything like that? Would it be, or would it just be
feeding into it?
Right, okay.
I feel a lot of it, and I think then it's just totally feeding into it.
Right, okay.
How I felt at that time. But you know, as I say, maybe my ears pricking up again, and Stone Roses get back together, you know, there's a wee bit of kind of life and stuff then, but I've not really taken up with newer bands really during that time. I think there was a bit would that be the bit of the time when there was a bit of a scene, kind of Dundee and stuff, and The View, and there's a lot of kind of more libertines and stuff like that, wasn't it? So there was a bit of a scene started again, with guitar music, kind of happened again, which I had kind of a bit part in and stuff,
Right.
you know, until, you know, kind of changed things in my life.
Right, okay.
And probably more for my personal kind of music kind of journey. You know, somebody really helped me in the kind of early days, and he was a musician.
Wow.
You get in his house, this guy is an absolute legend, you know. He's got instruments everywhere, keyboards, drums in his room, do you know what I mean? Just one of the kind of characters, do you know what I mean? And he was the first person I ever said to him that, yeah, by the way, I write lyrics. And he's like, you know, I was ashamed that I wrote, you know, for their poems or lyrics or whatever like that. You know, that maybe are quite sensitive and stuff. I says, but I built up a good relationship with him, and I says, here, by the way, I write some lyrics and stuff, because he was always making music and quite really confident person to make music. And he took him off him, and he's like, go and keep writing.
Wow.
And that was the first bit that's the first time I ever told him that I wrote stuff, because I wrote poems and stuff before. And we were in Glasgow one day, just walking through Glasgow, and he went into cash converters, and he came back out and he had an acoustic guitar. He bought my acoustic guitar and goes, go and learn that and put chords to the lyrics, do you know what I mean? Then I started trying to kind of learn guitar, then I started trying to kind of sing and coming up with songs. So that was my own kind of music journey, do you know what I mean? Where I started kind of writing songs and writing chords and all that kind of side of things. And I'm so grateful for that guy. You know, sometimes you need that wee nudge, don't you? And through doing that, you know, I used to be, I'm no a music snob, I don't believe I am, you know. You get these people who, if anything's kind of mainstream, it's crap and stuff. I don't like that in music, but what I did learn there was, I really respect anybody that goes and does music and produces anything, no matter the quality. That music is for somebody, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So it was how difficult it is to learn, to put it together, to invest the time and invest money, go and get it recorded, get it done and put it out. But what I found as well was, by the time I come up writing a song, put the chords to it, go to some friends and musicians and stuff, go to a studio, record it and stuff like that. See, by the time it gets there, I can't hear the song. You just lose hearing it. All I heard was faults, or that needs to be better, this needs to be better. So I didn't really enjoy that part. You know, and I didn't enjoy performing it either. So that's alright. You know, I don't need to be the guy that writes songs, creates the songs and stands up on a stage and do it and stuff like that. I just didn't enjoy that. I didn't enjoy that part of the process of it. So what I do enjoy is the making of it and stuff, and I don't really need to be any sort of person that this is my song and I want you to like it and stuff. You know, the fun and enjoyment is in me writing it and coming up with ideas and stuff. And what I did do through that, most of my mates, some musicians, you know, and they were quite lucky, they all learned early. They all played early, you know. I get jealous sometimes. My best mate Sean, he's in the Hazy Sundays, and he speaks about, he's from Dundee, and he speaks about, ours was a really kind of music based school, where we played instruments and we had a band at school. And it's like, I remember going to parents' night with my dad, and the music teacher and all guys was like, I don't pick music's crap. It's crap here. Do you know what I mean? So it was like no encouragement in about creative or anything like that. But what we did during lockdown and stuff, me and a couple of mates started kind of writing together. So my mate Paul, he would send across, here I've got this kind of melody and stuff like that. And I think I wrote, you know, what's that saying? They say, don't die with your song still inside you. I think everybody's got a song in them, haven't they? I think every single person has got a song in them. And he he sent me across his guitar, you know, because we can't see each other at this time and stuff, lockdown and all that kind of stuff. And I just said to him, "He's a theme," and he just said Glasgow. I just sat down writing, because I've always seen Glasgow as a city of contradiction. Do you know what I mean? It can be beautiful in your eyes one day, and the next day you see the worst of it and stuff. So I wrote a song called Glasgow's Burning. And what we did for that song was we got another guy who had a home studio and stuff like that, and went along and recorded it, and it's the best song I've wrote, do you know what I mean? And we started, right, well, we'll start up a wee band, the Decadent Movement and stuff like that, and as other people come in and join it, Sean for the Hazy Sundays, I got him along, Ross for the Hazy Sundays, a bass player, got him on. The next thing with the band, and I was happy to just write the songs and stuff like that. And for a wee kind of small project that started, you know, in my living room during lockdown and stuff, they ended up playing the Barrowlands. Do you know what I mean? At the Celtic Connection Festival and stuff like that. So it was a good wee kind of story and a good wee journey, and we wrote some really good songs, released an EP, and stuff like that. But it's hard, see bands, hard to maintain, you know, and you get like investment, cash, studio, hiring studios and renting studios and stuff like that. And that kind of phased away. But I was glad I was involved in that, and it gave me confidence as well, my songwriting, because these were people who were musicians, and they were saying to me, the lyrics are great lyrics and stuff like that, you know, and going for that person who was like, here, I write lyrics, by the way, I've not showed them and stuff. But there's something in me, you know, we spoke earlier a wee bit about kind of poems and stuff like that, I can't even know write. And I was reading about something about it, and I believe this to be true. See, if you're creative, you're not using that talent, like it's trapped energy in you. I write a poem every morning. I wake up at crack of dawn every morning, I've got a couple of hours to myself in the house. I write a poem most mornings.
Really?
Do you know what I mean? Aye.
Based on whatever's there at the moment?
Whatever's there.
Wow.
You know, and it's just that thing about my kind of my writing as well, short stories and stuff like that. That came about, ended up in pneumonia about 5 years ago or something. Very, very strange. Ended up in pneumonia, went to the hospital, they stuck us on a drip of antibiotics and it cleared straight away, but I get signed off for work for like 3 weeks or something. I was like, I'm cool, I'll come back from my work, and they allowed me because I'm signed off, and I just started writing. I couldn't stop.
Wow.
I can't stop, do you know what I mean? Sometimes get into it, I don't know what that is, you know, I do.
Is it a physical thing? Are you typing? Are you typing, or is it physical? When you're writing?
Typing.
Typing, right, okay.
Aye, recently I've been typing, but sometimes I can just get into that zone, you know, and it's so therapeutic for me. But now I'm in that, it's like, if you start running, you know, you get running, you know how good that is for you, then you stop it. Every morning I'm like, I said, you should be running Eddie, and give myself, do you know what I mean? And I feel like, you've been lazy, but it's like that with writing as well. So it's just something that I've found out about myself over the years.
And it's mad how that has almost like been your, to initiate this was like a chance meeting with a guy, and you had to pluck up this kind of courage to share your deepest, darkest secret that you do something creative, and there's a shame in that, by the way, and I think that's a society thing, like, you know, and often for me, and I've had some encouragement to write as well at times, and it was my pal who's a creative, and he's like, no, you need to see yourself as a writer, man. It's like, you know, it's the inner voice. It's not so much, it's like, nobody's saying, oh, you're this and you're that.
Nobody's ever said it.
It's like that, and I think for myself, it kind of has that inner voice, and I think for me, any time that, I wish I was writing every day, but you're quieting that inner voice then. I mean, every time you're writing, you're like, fuck you almost, you know what I mean, I'll show you, and what a skill to get in there, and I think it helps for, you know, loads of things, even like, you overthink, you know, it helps with, and so what's the kind of, you know, you mentioned it, I mean, I think you could day through it now. So what do you think that's bringing you in that, see like that in the morning and your day? What's the benefits that's bringing you, would you say, mate, with it?
It's just I feel as if I'm feeding an asset of mine.
Right.
You know, a lot of them, you know, a lot of them I don't put out anywhere. You
Aye.
know, so again, it's that kind of personal thing. It allows my head to think in a certain kind of way, you know. But sometimes it can be too much where I'm driving to work and my head's just lyrics or kind of pictures and stuff like that, you know. But what I've really enjoyed is people can relate to them when I do kind of post them out, you know. It's about stuff I've seen in life, you know. It's a humour in life, but it's also the opposite end of it as well. And people seem to kind of like that, you know. I got a lot of yourself as well, you know. You gave me a lot of encouragement when I was posting up kind of lyrics and poems and stuff like that online, do you know what I mean? And,
Something's hilarious, mate.
Aye, but it's just normal life, isn't it?
There was one you put up. You thought images, like words creating images. You put somebody not walking out with tracky bottoms on and
Aye, black shoes.
like slip-on
Black
shoes.
Adidas. You know the guys, didn't you, with the black dress shoes?
I saw that.
Aye. The sickest man in Scotland, it was called.
And it was just, I don't know, some things just nail it, you know what I mean? It's not too much, it's not too little, it just absolutely nails that image. I've got that connected with an old image, I didn't know I was still carrying a boot making, and you're like, wow, man, I think for yourself it's great, you don't need that validation. It's good and you've had good compliments, but you don't need that. For yourself, it's just, you need it. And I think, I don't know, it seems like it's been very much an individual art for you. It is to be shared, but for yourself as well, even for like a wee guy who started writing the lyrics out. It's always been a personal thing for you.
That memory there, writing the lyrics, that's always stuck with me through my life. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it was because I felt ashamed about it when my brother and his pal came in and what are you doing, writing and stuff like that, you know. So maybe like we were speaking about this, where maybe that kind of I wrote some lyrics. You know, the cautiousness of it. You don't really stand in the street corner when you're a young guy. Then you go, here, get a lot of poem. Do you know what I mean? You just get, and I've put this into my short film as well. Do you know what I mean? Because I wrote a song called Saltcote Shore, it was called, and in my short film it's about the two friends, and it's just kind of following them. But I went and put the lyrics to Saltcote Shore when they're sitting down the shore and they're saying, and that's what it's about. He's dead cautious. He only tells his best friend that he writes lyrics, and at the end it says here, don't tell him back there that I write poems and stuff like that. And he kind of slags him, saying, I'm not telling any Rabbie Burns, I hang about with any Rabbie Burns birthday anyway, do you know what I mean? That kind of thing. But it's reality, isn't it? You know, around about that. So I'm so glad I did find it, you know.
I think so. Just moving on then, like from there, it's like, so your short film that's coming out then, is that like, what's it called?
The Back Data.
The Back Data. Kind of biopic short, is it a kind of from a chapter of your...
So when I was saying there about pneumonia, I started writing about myself initially, my experience throughout my life and stuff like that. And I remember I used to be kind of a platform called Medium and put wee bit snippets of it up. And I was in a dark place when some of the stuff I'm writing about, and I remember putting it up. I remember my auntie writing underneath it online, so that's not what that area was like. So I'm speaking really negatively about a place I get put when I was on my arse kind of thing. And that's where she grew up, you know. So it's all about perception again, isn't it? This is how I seen that. But man, I grew up there and that's a nice, happy place, blah, blah, blah. But it taught me something. It was like, my perception of things aren't true. And when I'm writing about myself, there could be people who come and say, what are you talking about? Or that didn't happen, or that's not the way it is and stuff. So I made up these two characters. Do you know what I mean? And what it did, well, one character, the main character, and what it did is it gave me freedom to write whatever I wanted, because it's not real. But everything in my short film is people I know, things I've seen, things I've done, things I've seen other people do, kind of thing. And it just gave me total freedom. So I started to write. The aim was to write a book. And this chapter, the back data, was one that I put out. So the short of it is, it follows these two addicts in Saltcoats. They've got nothing over 2 days. One day, first day they're really low and they're talking about trying to get out of the predicament they're in and stuff. Then the next morning, one of them gets a hefty back data payment and the full world changes because, you know, just that contrast again, you know, between wanting to top yourself and everything's terrible to money changing things. But everybody in the film is an addict in one way or another, but we always kind of focus on the substance use addicts, you know. So everybody else in it, you know, there's a lot of stuff to do with families regarding their codependency, their addiction. We've got Grado playing a priest in it. He's also got addiction issues in the background of it and stuff like that. There's a shopkeeper, Willie Cash, the gyro in, who judges him because they're addicts, but he's addicted, a workaholic and stuff. So everybody in the full thing, some type of addict, but it's always the people with substance use that get the bad deal with it, you know.
The judgment.
The judgment and stuff like that. Because I believe everybody's an addict in some way, aren't they? You know, but it doesn't end too well, but there's a lot of humour in it as well, kind of Scottish humour, and it is real, you know. I never dressed it up as anything else. It's very gritty, you know, and I've been lucky enough to get a few people inside, like Grado, like Dan Connell, I've got somebody else as well lined up, who's a name, because that's what people want to see.
Who's the other guy? So Grado, Darren McConnell, stand-up comedian.
And Dan McGarvey.
Who's the kind of social commentator. Probably he won the Booker. No, was it? What did he won? One of his books.
What do you call it for books? I forget what you call it.
What was it? For that. Poverty Safari. Was that what he won? He won quite a prestigious award for that. So when's it out, mate?
He's a good guy. So we've started the early stages of filming. So with editing and all that, we're hoping to try and get it out kind of autumn time. But it's exciting. It's a massive thing. It's a massive thing for me, you know, and what we've done so far is like, really laughing.
No, it's full circle, isn't it? It's like, Faye, that's my art, that's my... You know, for that 13-year-old boy, copying lyrics to, 35 years later, just exposing that talent on a national level with well-known people, and it's just, I don't know, I think that's the kind of, maybe the kind of evolution of yourself going for there. Maybe you could argue, I felt sometimes if you had that direction as a boy, things might have been, you don't know, and it seems to be, it's sort of...
Or would you have had that
you wouldn't have the
desire for it, you know,
the experiences.
So I'm quite happy the way it kind of panned out. So that's exciting, you know, but it is a lot of time and stuff like that. But again, music's important for it. I'm concerned with the soundtrack for it. There's a lot of kind of laws in there, red tape regarding using, because I know about the music I would want to use.
What would that be?
What?
Well,
I think it was kind of big emphasis on ultrasonic
at
that time, but I've got like piano versions of it and stuff like that to put in it. We're actually, the Metro's reopened and they've allowed us to come in and film next Saturday night. Joe Deacon's playing at it, so we're going to do a bit of filming in there as well. But just try to think back to some of the kind of dance tunes at the time, or even just tunes that was released at that time, you know. What do you call that tune? Forever Young, but an acoustic version of that as well. But it's so much red tape cost, man, to use it. So we've got an idea. The guy who's doing the sound production on it, he's got a home studio and stuff, so we're looking. And I've already wrote a song for it. It's called Just Another Saturday, which will be the theme song for it, and we've already got that recorded. So music's going to be a big thing for the film.
I look forward to that as well, I really do. So moving on, linking in your wordsmith, mate. It seems to be, you know, it's just been a companion alongside music all your life. It's no big surprise then that Bob Dylan is the album you wrote, and I would add another level to that. It's no surprise that Blood on the Tracks is your favourite album for his as well. So we'll focus on this a wee bit. So whereabouts were you in your journey you spoke about when you maybe came across Dylan, man? Can you remember your first?
I think probably at that early stage we were talking about young guys maybe in a room smoking dope and stuff like that, you know, and it's sort of the songs of Bob Dylan, you know, isn't it, and stuff like that. But something really changed. I always listened to him, you know, but it'd probably be more his kind of well-known kind of song, greatest hits or something during that time. But I remember late 90s, early 2000, he was playing at the ACCC, him and Van Morrison.
Wow.
And my mum's a big fan of Bob Dylan as well. So me and my mate and my mum went along to see him. And it was the worst thing I've ever done. Because it was terrible.
What was he?
Aye. It was terrible. Because Bob Dylan is a very strange character. Nobody knows anything about him. You know, he's very private and stuff like that. Him and Van Morrison had a fallout before it, so there was a kind of conflict. You could feel the tension.
And he's a
at the gig.
spiky character,
he's
you know.
Really spiky. So, and Bob Dylan, you can listen to that album, Blood in the Tracks, with the same songs that he plays elsewhere. He never plays the same song same twice. Changes lyrics in them and stuff as well. And it just felt, when I went to see him, you know, Never Meet Your Hero kind of thing, it was very like that. But it didn't put me off him. I think Dylan constantly tours. Just constantly. Don't stop. And that kind of privacy kind of side of him. He hires like bodyguards every week, then sacks them the next week in case they find out.
Wow.
To keep his private life. So he's a very interesting character. But when I kind of came into recovery, changed things about, you know, I had a really close friend, another musician as well, and we went on a real journey with Dylan, do you know what I mean? I really looked behind all his albums and stuff like that, and I just feel Blood in the Tracks as the masterpiece that came out his full career. You know, what I find about Dylan is, I could talk to you for half an hour and go round the houses to try and say something, and he says like paragraphs in a sentence. He says paragraphs in a sentence, and back to that kind of visionary kind of stuff, you know. I see it when I listen to his music.
And I feel, see with Dylan as well, there's a feeling there too. There's that lament side to him that the pain, you feel his pain.
Totally.
And connects with your own pain. Maybe you're trying to sometimes suppress things, or you can go on his journey along with him and it makes sense of his lyrics the way you want.
If you listen to Idiot Wind on that, I mean, it's delivered with venom, isn't it? It's delivered with total venom, do you know what I mean, regarding his pain. The majority is about relationships having broke down or wanting somebody back, you know, and I think across the board most music is probably along that kind of theme in different kind of ways, you know. But we Idiot Wind and that, it's like he doesn't hold back with, do you know what I mean? So it's a different side of Dylan, you know, where people think of Bob Dylan as everybody, do you know what I mean? That wee kind of nice guy playing kind of that, you know, and obviously it's there's usually a structure to songs, isn't there? Usually you've got a couple of verses, you've got a chorus, maybe a middle eight, then a couple of verses and a chorus, you know. He just writes verses, do you know what I mean? After it in a lot of songs, and you would get bored if somebody did that, and you would maybe say that's not very talented, they've not got a, you know, good song structure and stuff like that, but his is a masterpiece. You know, but he is a poet, isn't he? You know, and it's like, but he's able to kind of write lyrics that I couldn't come up with in a lifetime in a sentence that tells a story. There's like 4 or 5 lines in certain verses, and he takes you on a journey or different places, you know.
So would that be, not being a spot here, man, but would there be an example of a song or of a lyric that spoke to you, and in that moment you felt completely kind of understood by it? Or it made sense to you?
Aye, there would be, it doesn't come to the top of my head, but what Dylan, I believe, does is take me away from me, instead of relating me to it. It's another world, do you know what I mean? It's another storyline. You know, if you listen to songs like what you got, the Jack of Hearts, do you know what I mean? And that song, it's like a fucking theatre, isn't it?
That's right. It's a movie.
Aye,
is that the last track on it?
What? No.
Right, okay. It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while since I've... Oh. So this is just for the listeners here, man, this is Eddie's recommendation to give it a go.
Lily, Rosemary and the Jack.
So if you had to pick one for there, mate, what would you be? Or is that just a silly question, mate?
That's why I picked this album. This probably isn't my favourite album of all time.
Okay.
But it's an album that I will press play and I'll listen to the full album all the way through every time.
Would you write whilst listening to...
What?
Would you be writing whilst listening to them?
No, I wouldn't embarrass myself.
As if he's looking on your shoulder type thing.
No, but certain music does give you inspiration and ideas and stuff, you know, so aye.
So you mentioned that, did you kind of fall back in love with this, like you said, when you moved into recovery yourself, getting away from the darkness? Was this one of your albums then, would you say? That, I mean, music can bring up a lot of memories, good and bad. See if you're trying to get your shit together, sometimes it's better off not to listen to certain kinds of music than others. So diving straight into maybe Pink Floyd or Jim Watt straight away when you're trying to get your shit together, maybe not the best idea. But was there a sense of safety with Bob Dylan when you get to recovery? Was this the kind of music you started listening to make a set? So was there a sense of safety listening to Bob Dylan?
I've not even thought about it until you said it there, but you wake up in recovery, don't you? For me it was like 2 decades later, you know, kind of thing, where you kind of wake up and you kind of finding yourself again, you know. So I was maybe going back and listening to bits of stuff that I thought was my music and stuff like that. But certainly when I started listening to Dylan again, I realised where I was at there. That was what I liked, not what I was influenced to like because that was a band at the time, or that was what was getting played in a club at that time, like I kind of got flung about, you know, when you're younger. You should like this because that's what you're getting told, do you know what I mean? But certainly with that was something that is my music, you know, and that's what I was doing. And the Stone Roses and stuff again, do you know what I mean? I gave it enough of a gap where I could listen to it and appreciate it, because music hits differently when you're in recovery. Certainly for me, and music is a massive part. Creativity as well, but music is that for me as well. You know, for my well-being. You know, and I've tried to kind of introduce that. So myself, Sean for the Hazy Sundays, my other friend Deke, who's a sound producer and stuff like that. You know, we would start going to band gigs and all that again in recovery, but with a different experience.
Yes.
Take in the music, and we come up with the idea that wouldn't it be good if we created like a space where people could go that we maybe didn't want. And we weren't always focused on people in recovery. We were focused on people who maybe want to go to a gig without alcohol being there. They might drink at other times and stuff like that, you know. And what we didn't want it to be was a recovery event, which feels like a recovery event. We wanted to normalise it. Do you know what I mean? Which would mean a good location, venue, and good acts on it. Do you know what I mean about that? About some recovery things, you go along, you know, this has got recovery written all over it.
Paint with smiles.
Aye, and if it's about kind of normalising things, why are we separating away from society, saying that we need to stay in this wee circle here, and do you know what I mean?
Aye, like some of the stuff I'm now involved in, it just reeks of who's paying for this, and who's a client. Like you clients are, do you know what I mean? Totally. Check out the service users type thing. Yeah. Whereas you're trying to build something more organic. Where it's to inviting people wherever they're at, like in recovery or not, to enjoy the bare bones of music. Where you don't actually need to be, where the bullshit we get told that you need to enjoy certain types of music, you need chemicals in your...
Yeah, aye.
This is a kickback against that then.
Aye, totally, and it's a free event. Okay, right. We don't make a penny off it, do you know what I mean? It's getting put on purely to try and put on a quality event. In the beginning, it was probably a lot of recovery communities come along and stuff, and they still do. Do you know what I mean? But now, as it's grown over the years, this will be our 6th year. Wow. You know, I don't think there's another kind of recovery, it started as a recovery event at that side. Last year we had over 2,300 people at it that day. Throughout the day, it's on 12 to half 6. But what you're seeing now is more and more the general public is there. People that we probably know from other parts of our life and stuff like that, you know. People that's just into music, people that play music themselves are coming along, and it's picked up momentum. I mean, we started off at that event with a few kind of Scottish hip hop rappers. I think one of the first ones was it the Resurrection, Stone Roses tribute band kind of thing, Stop the Clocks, tribute bands and stuff, you know. And over the past few years we got Bez there, you know, Bez come up, and it was great. We've had Chris Helm for the Seahorses, Shambolics, who did we have last year? John Power, Alan McGee. Doing a DJ set at that. Funny. But it's bizarre, isn't it, how things come round, do you know what I mean? Like Alan McGee, like Oasis manager, blah blah blah. Messaged them the other week and he phones me the next day, alright, you want tickets for this and stuff like that. We just laugh, we're like, how did this happen?
If only my younger self could see me now, man, that's brilliant.
Just funny though, but without the people's help, you know, he's been a big help to us. You get John Power, Shambolics and stuff like that. And this year we're trying to, I can't get the line-up for this year, but this year we need to try and keep developing that for people to come. You know, and see that feeling the three of us get, see we go there, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of money. We need to go out there and source funding to put it on for free and stuff, you know. People don't just hand us that, we need to go and do that work. Three of us work full time, we've got families and stuff like that. We've got other projects going on. But see when that we go there on that day, and it always has run smoothly, and we get to meet these acts, and we build up relationships with them, and even offer ourselves for other years and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm very privileged to be able to do that.
Aye.
You know, all because we come up with the idea, it would be a good idea for people that maybe didn't want to be running about kind of drink and drugs, you know, it's a safe environment, but but the music needs to be of a good quality as well. And I believe we've achieved that. You know, how sustainable that'll be forevermore, we'll see, do you know what I mean? But we definitely could be bigger things come away from it and stuff.
I think I don't know, man, you talk about the numbers of a couple of thousand gone. You imagine the impact that's had of these people, maybe like particularly for the new into recovery, the confidence that will give them even to go out and socialise and feel safe and to be safe.
See, when we started, that was about.
Can't measure that stuff.
That was a big part of it in the beginning, round about, you know, we want to make this so people know how you can enjoy music. It's not just, I'm not into that. See people our age in recovery and they still want to listen to hardcore music and go to raves, you know, I'm not into that. Do you know what I mean? You know, I don't like that music. I don't thing. I relate that to other things. You know, I do. Or trying to kind of relive that or something. I don't know what it is. You know, well, each to their own. Do you know what I mean? But for me,
absolutely. I think you've been there and done it. And it's good you can put that into that compartment, saying that was that part of your life. It seems like you were absolutely in the middle of the storm there, mate. And I think maybe others that they maybe missed out first time round on that. That'll never be duplicated, that, mate. And I think given that time and that age you were in that as well, man. So it's great. And that's on your it's now a community interest company, a kick.
Community interest company, aye. As I said, we've been running 6 years and it's grew each year and stuff like that. But we're certain to look to kind of develop that over the next couple of years, because expensive business getting bands and stuff like that, you know. And if you want to develop, where do you go? You know, so but the ways maybe things like more intimate gigs throughout the year put on by us, which is a again alcohol-free event. Maybe just, you know, we always like to get somebody in recovery to open it up, so people we know. We've asked them this year, if you're in recovery and you create your own music and stuff like that, send across your videos, your songs. We always get stuff like that to open it up, so we don't forget us kind of thing. This is, you know, and we get obviously Sean's kind of Hazy Sundays band I played the last couple of years, so that we're going to give them a break for it, kind of rip that, you know. So
but you've been that guy who was for you the years ago with that guitar, that kind of gateway. And I think you're being that on a kind of massive level there, kind of national level, where you're reaching out and you're encouraging people to come out and, you know what I mean, like show and share, and you've got a space here, mate. That's incredible, mate. It really is. I think it goes without saying, man. It's just the impact of that is just you couldn't really measure that. You know what I mean? The ripple effect.
We need to measure it. That's the thing. You know, when you apply for funding and stuff, you need to send out feedback to places and stuff, you know. And I'll finish in this regarding that kind of side. I don't like people to smoke up our arse, do you know what I mean? But we know it's a good event.
Yes.
You know, we know it is for what it is. But we get funding in the past for the National Lottery.
Brilliant.
And they sent us an email saying that we were the best example of what that funding was supposed to be used for. So that stuff for us is gold, isn't it? You know, that we can go to other funders and say, oh, this is our experience of that and stuff. So that makes you feel good. And the fact that, right, we said we're going to do A, B, C, we came to you, you gave us it, and we've delivered it to a high quality, you know.
So, brilliant, mate. But I'll try to make it this year. I think usually you get it's like a holiday time for me, tryouts and the schools graph. So, it would be good to go, but keep doing what you're doing, mate. Just keep keep with your writing as well. Just sounds that's inspiring me, mate. I'm going to look at myself now as well, and I think that's the great thing about this podcast, bringing people like yourself on to inspire others, and for me, I'm part of that as well. So keep up the good work. I look forward to the back data as well, man. What a title that will be. And you're going to try and showcase it at some.
We're going to be 3 showcases of it. We're
Right.
going to do one down Saltcoats.
Right. Oh wow.
Irvine Harbour Arts Centre.
Right.
Has kindly agreed to get on board with us,
Right.
and they've asked if they could do
Wow.
a show near them. We'll do one up in Glasgow.
I think they're building right this week. It might be finished actually now. The Glasgow Film Festival. First week of March. I don't know. Anyway, mate, it's an absolute privilege to have you on. I don't know if it's been a wee bit longer, man, but it just sounds like it just feels a bit of time to kind of close it. So thanks very much.
Yeah, Alan, thanks
It's
for
been
having
a
us.
privilege to sit down and chat with you, mate, and just just look forward to fortnightly we're running these, and for the next guest to come on. I think this is recorded up, put it on Monday, so just the feedback we've been given for the first one was we're dead grateful for it, and it encourages us to keep going as well. So it's something that we really enjoy. So I'd just like to thank everybody who had listened to the first one. I hope you listen and enjoy this one again. So thanks very much. I'll see you later.